Good afternoon, Rudy.
Good afternoon, Tom.
How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Kind of a busy return from his business trip for the Prime Minister as he made his way into the House of Commons today.
Yes, Prime Minister Carney did make his way to question period and to the House of Commons today, but the problem is that a lot of people were expecting him yesterday because he was in the country, he was actually in the capital, he was in Ottawa, but he didn't show up for an important debate yesterday evening, a debate that his own party called for, which was the position of the Canadian government when it comes to the situation in the Middle East and in Iran. Yes.
Why do you think that is? Why would he shy away from a debate that his own party wanted to take part in?
I think that he made a mistake that is, I believe, from the fact that he's not a career politician, and I do believe that he doesn't understand that his role is also to be in Parliament. It's not only to negotiate big deals or to go overseas, that he is an elected official, he is a prime minister, and that the prime minister needs to address the House of Commons when there's important issue. It cannot just only be a press conference between two planes, either in India or in Australia, and do nothing when he's back in the country. Even today, this morning, when you looked at his agenda, he wasn't supposed to be at question period, and it was only changed late in the morning that he was going to attend question period. So I do believe that I understand that the Prime Minister is taking calls from France, and he did mention it today. He spoke to President Trump on Sunday, but yesterday night he was in Ottawa. He attended an event in his riding instead of being a parliamentarian and addressing Parliament on this important issue, because at the end of the day, we want to hear it from the Prime Minister himself in terms of what is the position of our country. Because last week, there was a bit of confusion. Is Canada going to participate? Is Canada not going to participate? Now it's been clear Canada will not participate, and at least we hear it only today from the Prime Minister during question period.
Now, why do you think that situation came to be? Do you think it's Prime Minister Carney just, as you intimated, maybe not knowing the ropes because he's not really politically savvy yet? Or do you think perhaps maybe he was misinformed or misadvised, or maybe he just didn't listen to the advice he was given?
It's strange because just last week he was in Australia, and guess what he did when he was in Australia? He made a speech in their whole House of Commons in the Australian Parliament before parliamentarian. So it's not like Prime Minister Carney doesn't like to give speeches. We know about his speeches in Davos. And just last week when he was in Australia, he did address parliamentarians. So I do believe that it was a mistake. I do believe that Prime Minister Carney, because he doesn't have a past in politics, is not used to all those habits of answering questions and coining and pressing and facing the music when it comes to the press and presser and press conference. But at the end of the day, it is part of the job, and he needs to be there in the House of Commons because technically that's where we speak to Canadians and to his colleagues and other elected officials. So I do believe that it was a mistake. I don't think he'll make it again, but it's kind of a narrative that you can see that he's not in the House of Commons very often. Even if he's in the country, even if he's in the capital, he chooses only to go once or twice a week. And I do believe that at the end of the day, there's going to be a narrative that if you don't show up to work, even if he's doing some big things and some great things, he needs to answer questions in the House of Commons.
Yep, perhaps he's just not used to. Yes, I'm saying perhaps he's just not used to being questioned over things. Like he's not used to having people disagree with him or put him on the spot. Changing tact for just a second here before we have to head off. The CAQ leadership race here in the province. The deadline to buy a party membership is on Friday, the 13th. But is that a little bit unusual? The debates are only going to be taking place on the 21st.
Yes, it's a bit unusual and a bit strange. I know it's the first time the CAC is having a raise, but it's kind of weird because this is the last week where they can sell membership, and the debates are only going to be starting March 21st. So even if you watch the debate and you say, oh, maybe I like Mr. Drainville, or maybe I like Madame Fréchette, or I like what I see, you cannot buy a membership after this Friday. So it's only kind of those debates will be only for people who already are holding those memberships of the CAC. And there was some information that was released today. We know there were some polls saying that Madame Fréchette is ahead of Monsieur Drainville. It's also the case when you look at fundraising numbers that were released on Monday. Christine Fréchette was able to raise about $65,000 compared to $40,000 for Bernard Drainville. So it's again another sign that the work of Madame Fréchette, she's been able to have a stronger team and also to being able to raise some money. We still don't know what are the numbers about those membership, how many cards each team was able to sell, but we can have some little indication with those fundraising numbers that Madame Fréchette is ahead of Monsieur Drainville.
And that's even with Bernard Drainville proposing to give Quebecers some of their money back.
Yes, that's an announcement that he made today, that if he becomes Premier of Quebec, because we can see that the oil level is very high, the oil price is very high, that he wants to return some of the money, because the reality is when the price of oil is up, government is also making more money because there's taxes on taxes, and when the price is higher, they can collect more taxes. So the idea of Bernard Drainville is to return some of that money. He's talking about possibly $100 million, but the question is, how is he going to be able to do it? And it will only happen if he becomes Premier.
It's going to be an interesting finish to this race, and it looks like it's going to be a bit of a race right down to the wire. So thank you very much for taking the time this afternoon, and appreciate you talking to us, Rudy. It was insightful, especially into the workings of the House of Commons in Ottawa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Canadian women are looking for more out of themselves, their businesses, their elected leaders, and the world around them.
And that's why we're thrilled to introduce the Honest Talk podcast.
I'm Jennifer Stewart.
And I'm Catherine Clark. And in this podcast, we interview Canada's most inspiring women.
Entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and newsmakers, all at different stages of their journey.
So if you're looking to connect, then we hope you'll join us.
Listen to the Honest Talk podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts.